Oh, God. Here we go, folks. Here we frickin' go. I can't help but laugh at how predictable Electronic Arts is in their future plans for the games industry, with their primary target being, of course, monetization. All of that is beginning to come to fruition, folks.
Everything is proceeding as I have foreseen.
Especially with this latest story, which comes from news outlet Video Games Chronicle. The headline of this article, published on August 31st, 2019, reads, FIFA boss David Rutter to oversee DICE in new role. But it doesn't end there. He's actually been promoted to an executive position, as we can see in this article, which reads, Rutter, who is often partially credited for the success of modern FIFA titles, has relocated to Sweden to oversee EA's European studios, including DICE, Criterion, and Ghost Games. So for those who don't know who these studios are, Criterion Games, they are responsible partly for Star Wars Battlefront 2. They helped out with the development for that title. From there we have Ghost Games. They are now currently responsible for the Need for Speed franchise. They were the ones who developed Need for Speed Payback, which you may recall was infested with loot boxes, which legit just looked and sounded straight up like slot machines, identical to what you'd find in a casino. And this studio is now also developing Need for Speed Heat, which is the upcoming game, the new Need for Speed entry. And last but not least, we of course have DICE. They're responsible for the Battlefield franchise right now. They also made games like Mirror's Edge. They helped out, obviously, with Battlefront. In fact, I believe they were sort of the main guys behind Star Wars Battlefront 2, with Criterion sort of helping out on that front. And Battlefield 5 is their latest title, and we all know how that went. Battlefield 5 is not in a good place right now. So these are the studios, DICE, Ghost, as well as Criterion, that the former FIFA boss will now be overseeing as the general manager of EA Europe. So EA actually provided a statement when reached out to by news outlet Video Games Chronicle, which reads as follows. David Rutter has moved to Europe and taken on the role of Group General Manager for EA Studios Europe to lead our creators at DICE Stockholm, Ghost, and Criterion. For the last 12 years, David has led our FIFA franchise and EA Sports development teams at Vancouver and EA Romania to amazing success. And of course, by amazing success, they are only referring to financial guidelines. They're not really talking about how these games have been received critically, but we all know, obviously, how Battlefront 2 turned out, Need for Speed Payback. That also is a pretty trash game, ruined by monetization. And same thing goes for Battlefield's latest entry, Battlefield 5, which is still in a ruinous state. Now, to give you an even better idea for the implications behind all this, let's look at David Rutter's history here. Rutter joined EA in 2007 as a producer. His first game, FIFA 09, marked the start of a critical rejuvenation for the sports series and was the title that introduced the incredibly successful Ultimate Team Mode. That's right, folks, the gambling we have in our FIFA games now, we have David Rutter to thank. He kickstarted this Ultimate Mode system that slowly but surely evolved over time to become the slot machine that it is today. The article continued, he was a common face in community videos and press interviews until his promotion in 2014 to general manager of FIFA's premium operation. And then in 2018, he became general manager of the EA Sports Vancouver studio. Net revenue from Ultimate Team accounted for roughly 28%, 21%, and 16% of EA's total revenue during its 2019, 2018, and 2017 fiscal years respectively, a substantial portion of which was derived from FIFA Ultimate Team. And EA has this guy, David Rutter, FIFA boss, to thank, and now he is being given this executive position where he oversees even more studios, which has implications and, I would say, consequences for franchises under EA's umbrella. Let's look at this article that I previously talked about. It's titled Restoring Trust in Star Wars Battlefront 2. And here, Dennis Branval, who is the design director of this game, talked about how not a week goes by without us thinking, imagine if we hadn't launched with loot boxes the way we did. He talked about how they hit rock bottom in terms of player sentiment, but now they're starting to climb back up each and every month, and people feel the same way. They feel like this game has improved drastically since launch, but all of that now, I feel, is compromised. The future of Battlefront 2 is no longer safe as the guy who kickstarted Ultimate Team and propped FIFA up to where it is now, this casino disguised as a soccer game. The guy behind all that is now in charge of Star Wars Battlefront 2. Then we have the folks over at Ghost. Now, they promised recently that Need for Speed Heat will never have loot boxes. Hard to say if they can be believed because EA has lied and lied time and again multiple times in the past. Plenty of major video game publishers continuously lie about, oh, we won't include microtransactions. Oh, the microtransactions will be cosmetics only. Oh, we will not add loot boxes, we promise. And then they break those promises. We have seen this happen time and again. Who knows what the future holds for Need for Speed Heat, but given that the guy behind Ultimate Team has been put in charge of Ghost, given that he is now overseeing this game in some way, I would expect that there will be at least some type of egregious monetization system. Just because a game doesn't have loot boxes doesn't mean that microtransactions, whatever it is they plan to implement, direct purchases or battle passes, whatever it is, just because it isn't randomized paid rewards doesn't mean that the progression system, the reward system, won't be compromised in some way to strong-arm people into making additional purchases, into spending more cash. So this reassurance means nothing to me, especially coming from EA, and now after having learned that Mr. Ultimate Team here is taking over. Last but not least, Battlefield 5. The developers for this game recently issued an apology. This guy right here is Oscar Gabrielson, the general manager over at EA DICE. He tweeted the following recently on August 30th, 2019. Battlefield community, I know you are frustrated and disappointed with the experience across Chapter 4 for Battlefield 5. I'm really sorry. We are taking a step back to improve the quality of Battlefield 5 and as a result, making needed changes to our roadmap. And there's this whole letter that they released on the official EA website. And I'm not going to go through all of it, but yeah, this game is not doing so hot. And this circumstance is detailed by ccn.com in this paragraph, which reads, much of the apology centers on the frustration caused by Battlefield 5's latest content drop, Chapter 4 Defying the Odds. Despite promising a slew of new maps and content that never materialized, Chapter 4 introduced performance issues that detracted significantly from the overall quality of the game, including glaring graphical bugs and desyncs. These, alongside PR fiascos, countless delays, and overbearing monetization that have plagued the shooter's troubled history. Despite their reassurances, which again ring hollow given EA's past history, now with this guy becoming general manager of EA Europe and in return the manager of DICE, Criterion, and Ghost, who developed these games, the Ultimate Team guy himself taking over, I cannot say that future prospects look particularly good. And EA's goals with this, they're entirely obvious, not only because we have seen how EA has behaved over the past few years, but also because they have laid out their plans very clearly in the past. So this Games Industry article highlights how EA Ultimate Team is now worth over $800 million annually. This was back in March 2017, over 2 years ago. Now Ultimate Team is worth way more, without question. But beyond that, worth noting about this article is this paragraph right here from Blake Jorgensen. While he was talking about FIFA and Ultimate Team, Jorgensen started getting into how there's a real opportunity in finding ways to bring a similar concept to other EA games. And then in this paragraph, he said, like Battlefield or Battlefront, our Star Wars game, which are very similar in the depth of play, we can possibly add a similar mechanic to that. We spend a lot of time thinking about it. Not for tomorrow, but over the next couple of years, you're going to see a lot more of that in our portfolio. This, ladies and gentlemen, is 2017. Right now, it is September 2019. It's been a couple years, and we are seeing this in action. We are seeing EA leverage a real opportunity to bring FIFA's monetization systems, Ultimate Team-like elements, to their other EA titles, such as Battlefield or Battlefront, developed by companies such as DICE, such as Criterion, as well as another one of their major franchises, Need for Speed, which in the past has been monetized with loot boxes and such. This right here perfectly coincides with making the head of Ultimate Team, the guy who kickstarted Ultimate Team and led FIFA to financial success with the implementation of Ultimate Team, the overseer of EA Europe and all the various studios that are under that umbrella. Yeah, this fits perfectly with plans that Jorgensen has expressed in the past about making all EA games more like FIFA, bringing Ultimate Team-like elements to all EA games. I have a real bad feeling about this one, folks. I don't think this is rocket science in terms of what this means for the future. I think the writing's on the wall. Obviously, only time will truly tell how this all pans out. But EA so far has been incredibly predictable. And I'm telling you right now, none of this signals good tidings for EA's future, at least in terms of the quality of their games. From a financial perspective, EA is, pulling out champagne as Mr. Ultimate Team himself takes over operations for various marquee franchises under EA's umbrella. This is EA making a major push towards a plan that they discussed back in 2017, which they said would come to fruition over the next couple years, where we're going to see a lot more of that in their portfolio, a lot more of Ultimate Team type of elements. So, yeah, make of this what you will. I'd love to hear what your predictions are about David Rutter, FIFA boss, becoming head of EA Europe, and in turn, head of Criterion, DICE, and Ghost, in the comments below. With that, I would like to end this news update and discussion video. Thank you for tuning in. To be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.